What's up and welcome to the HVAC Dope Show, and in this video we are going to be reviewing and doing a general overview of the Daikin One Thermostat and giving you our 2 cents on it and show you some of the functionality features. And I'm going to be comparing it with some popular thermostats out there that compete with it, like the Nest thermostat or the Ecobee, and go through some of those features that those have so you have some comparison. So if you are excited about that, go ahead and smash that like button before we get started. It really helps out our channel. And let's dive in. So, the first thing I want to look at and point out with the Daikin One Thermostat, we're going to touch on functionality and ease of use, but we're also going to talk about the general aesthetics, what it looks like, how it performs, etc., etc. And at first glance, my 2 cents, and this is just personal preference, but if you look at the aesthetics of the Daikin One, in our opinion, it is a pretty sharp looking thermostat. It is definitely a little boxier and more of a modern look compared to a Nest or an Ecobee that has more rounded corners or features. So as far as physical shape and design, it's definitely more modern. But the other thing to point out when comparing the two thermostats is how much bigger the footprint is. The Daikin One is almost double the size of a Nest, although it is not quite as thick, so it does have a lower profile sticking off of the wall. But as far as the width, it is almost double the size of a Nest or Ecobee thermostat. You could literally fit 2 of them in here. So aesthetically, if you want my opinion, I think it's a great looking thermostat. One thing I think people would be happy without is the dial on the side, because honestly, and I will go into this when we go through the functionality, but this dial is notorious for being kind of clunky, which is why I use the touchscreen feature. This does have a touchscreen, and I found that the touchscreen is a much more responsive way to control the temperature up and down. And honestly, when I'm controlling this thermostat, I use the app on my phone 98% of the time. I rarely actually walk up to the thermostat and touch it, except for maybe when I first get to the office, I'll touch it to turn it up. But adjustments throughout the day or before I get to the office are all made from my phone. And as far as a review of features, the Wi-Fi connectivity works pretty well. I rarely have it fall offline, and it is relatively intuitive to reconnect if it ever does become disconnected. So in terms of how the Wi-Fi feature competes with the Nest or Ecobee, it works great. And in my opinion, compared to the CTK04, which is the only communicating thermostat that can replace the Daikin One on certain systems that are communicating, like the Daikin Fit, and still maintain that communicating functionality, I strongly prefer the Daikin One. I do not like the CTK04 at all. I've installed the CTK04 and it does not have built-in Wi-Fi functionality, which I think is honestly a major pain and requires a sling gateway adapter, which in my opinion is just dumb. But that's why Daikin has made the Daikin One. It's packaged all in one like a Nest or an Ecobee, which is what people are used to, which is why I highly recommend that over the CTK04. But just wanted to throw that out there because that is another communicating thermostat out there, but we don't put them in for that reason. Now we're going to go ahead and go through the settings and take a look at how it functions. So as you can see, when you first walk up to the thermostat, it's sleeping. It's gonna have the temperature displayed, and as soon as you tap the thermostat, it wakes up, and you have 4 buttons at the bottom. 1, you have the home button. 2 is the schedule button. The 3rd is the leaf. This is where the eco settings are, whether they can be on or off, which is similar to what you have on an Ecobee or Nest, which is just geofencing, meaning that if you leave your house or your office, based on the location of your phone, it knows that you're away, and it will turn down the thermostat or turn it up so it's not heating or cooling when no one's in the home. And the last button over here, the little squiggles, we'll call it squiggles, is supposed to be airflow, but it's where you have air quality information for indoor and outdoor air quality, current weather, and I did not even know that, but if you tap on the weather, you can literally see the schedule. I don't know that I've ever used that. I'm literally just finding out about this now because I have a smartphone, so that's how I look at my weather. But anyways, that's cool. And then you can set it to either circulate air, which is like fan on or fan off. And then in the fan speed, you can adjust your cooling fan speed and heating fan speed. And this is a feature I do love. This is designed for a communicating system. So when you go in here and tap, cooling fan speed and select auto or low, medium, high, what it's going to do is, if it's auto, obviously it's going to ramp up and down based on the demands of the system. And if you select low, medium, or high, what's nice about that is because this system is modulating like a Daikin Fit or a VRV Life, it will prevent itself from overheating or icing up, so you'll always have enough airflow. But if you want to set the fan on a lower setting, you can do that so that it's quieter, or if you need more airflow to another part of the house, like an upstairs or faraway bedroom, ramp up the airflow so that you can reach those faraway duct runs. And if we go back to our home screen, you can see in the home button, you can set the system to be either auto mode, where it cools and heats, or such as cool only, heat on or off. And if you set a range like this, for example, it will keep the thermostat setting between 71 and 61. But just one thing I want to point out and show you is how this wheel is pretty crappy. See, it doesn't even, it's like, what is it doing over here? It's like turntables or something, literally not doing anything. It's ridiculous. So I don't even bother with that. And the way I control the temperature is by putting my finger on the screen and dragging it up and down. I have relatively small hands and don't have any problems with the controls on the thermostat. And most of the time, like I said, I'm controlling it through my phone and in the phone app. And the nice thing about the app is that it is exactly like the Daikin One Thermostat interface. So in my opinion, it works for what I need. If I was giving Daikin any feedback on the Daikin One, I would have them cut off this wheel. You don't need it. And then you'd have a nice, clean, sleek, tiny box on the side. It's like the size of their Madoka, which is a nice footprint, and it's similar to that of the Nest or the Ecobee. So Daikin, if you are taking notes, that's my 2 cents. Just cut this box in half, and I think you'd have a winner from an aesthetics perspective. And as far as functionality, we don't really have issues with them besides that little dial. We work out all the kinks. If we do ever have communications issues in an install, it's normally connected to the wiring or the Phoenix plug on the board. And once we iron out those kinks, we have no issues with the thermostat for the most part. We've had these 2 Daikin ones installed in our shop for 2 years now and have not had any issues with them. And real quick, here's a screenshot of the Daikin One app. So you can see what it looks like to control things remotely. It's almost identical to the interface on the Daikin One unit itself, which is why I control everything from the app. Very easy to control. And if you have a zone system like a VRV Life, or if you have multiple systems throughout the house in the zone, the home with multiple Daikin thermostats, you can literally have all your Daikin One thermostats in one place to control. And this is similar to how the Nest works if you're familiar with using a Nest, being able to control all of them in one place if you have a zone system at your house. So I do like that feature on the app. It works pretty well, and that's it basically for my review of the Daikin One. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found this content helpful, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to our channel, and post in the comment section below about the videos you want to see, because I am committed to putting out content that you find interesting and helpful. So thanks again for tuning in to the HVAC Dope Show. I'm your host, Howard Binder, signing off.